I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the power, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so, they like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they bust at your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check in the bank, they see the number. All of my haters feel one of two ways, really upset or they show some respect. I can't even think about it, I've been up, so read about it, no beat around it, straight to it, no ring around it. You coming for me, we'll see about it, we'll never see it when I get my feet up. 100 meters where I run the field, and go from King and I'm on a Pia. I had to re-up on a reel, so you stay defeated, and put it back into the bit, cause I don't really need it. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I had to put all their egos in check. You're not entitled to anything else. I get 10 years of this under my belt. Your art isn't art, they don't feel it, and nobody hears it. Initiative stay on the shelf. Your ego done got in the way. It gotta die today. It gotta go. You should be happy I lighten the load. The weight of your arrogance, heavy as stone. I make an appearance, they already know. That chip on your shoulder gon' crumble and fold, yeah. It's not a secret that you have been fearing the shit that I'm on. So you back to the brag and the boast. But I'm in a class of my own. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all age, well, not children because this channel is marked not for children. But welcome to Drone Brews. Wow, it feels like it's been forever since we've done a live stream on a Wednesday night. There's been a lot that has happened that is preventing me from streaming live. I've wanted to make the stream sort of a bi-weekly thing just to give myself a little bit of freedom on Wednesday nights. But anyways, got a good show for you guys tonight. I'm really excited that we're back. But really quickly, let's go ahead and greet the chat. I see we've got Bob Casey, Maddie's Drone World, Texas Arc, Drone Guy, Bedford County Aerials, 107 Drones, Barclays in the house. We got Jorge Perez. We got Air Snaps. I don't know why I said that like schnapps. Air Snaps LLC, T Corp. We got Lon in the house. Lauren. We got Panda Drone 413. Should you get the Mini 3 Pro? Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic little drone. It is a fantastic drone. Got a full amount of people here. 55 watching. Thank you all for joining. Let's just bring it in here. Let's bring in Mr. Eduardo Nunez.
What's up, buddy?
What's good, man? It's been a long time since we've done a live stream.
I know. Let me formally wish you a happy new year.
Happy New Year. We have not streamed this entire new year.
And it's February 1st.
I know. It feels like we had to have done a stream.
I think so.
In January. I think we did. I think it's just been, it was a busy January.
Week.
So,
yeah,
no, we did. We did stream.
And
I think I popped into a few live streams in January. So beginning of January, we had CES, which that came and went really quickly. And then I said, well, we're not going to stream the week after CES because I wanted to take a break and sort of recover. And then last week, we were going to stream, but I got a call from BMW. They needed an extra hand filming out at the Daytona Rolex 24. So I was working with BMW filming all the social media stuff for them. So I was unavailable to stream. I probably could have streamed. We probably could have streamed. I would have just barely made it back to the studio in time to stream. I was not prepared to do that. So we ended up skipping last week, which was probably a good thing because I was super tired and I was like, I got to pass out. But it's good to be back. And we got some stuff to talk about, man.
Yeah.
So let's start off with FPV stuff. Let's start off with FPV. So FPV stuff, man. I got a ton of new gear recently that I've been putting through its paces. We got the Radio Master Boxer that just landed. An amazing controller.
How do you like it?
I love it, dude. I love it. It reminds me of the TBS Mambo, but just a better quality. Have you gotten a chance to see that? Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
It's an awesome radio. And today I put the AG01 gimbals in it.
Did you rip those out of the TX?
No.
Oh,
No.
When I saw the orange color scheme, I'm like, did this guy really rip it out of the Radio Master?
I have a problem. I'm an RC slut.
Yes,
I am a radio control. I'm a controller slut. I can't stop buying radios because what I'm doing is I'm searching for that one radio that just feels like magic in my hands. The only one that's felt that way so far has been the TBS Mambo, but the Mambo is flawed because of that board that basically soldered the switches to the board. So if you break a switch, now you have to either replace the board or try to get creative and solder it, which sucked. And then when there was problems with it, which trust me, OpenTX, whatever the hell, Freedom TX, which is what TBS was using, it's just garbage. It's garbage. So I went from that to a TX16. Now from a TX16, I went to a Zorro. And from the Zorro, now I'm on the Boxer, and I think the Boxer is the winner because it reminds me of a Mambo, but just better quality.
It looks
just a
really
lot
good.
better quality. Yeah, it really is.
I like that you can throw it in a bag. You can easily travel with it.
Ken Torbeck says, I always wanted to be a slut. Well, you can be an honorary slut, Mr. Torbeck. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I feel like the radio is like, that's really what makes your flight comfortable, right? Like, you got to have a good radio, something that you are, super comfortable with. And I think the Mambo was the radio I was most comfortable with. So now that I have the Radio Master Boxer, I am just super, super in love with that thing. That thing is fantastic. So got that. I finally got all the Quadmilla frames built. So we got a 3-inch Quadmilla frame, which I was testing today, which I got to say, man, they're making some pretty incredible products as far as FPV frames go. It's pretty much my favorite frame to fly. It's very durable, flies really well, and they're not really expensive, and they have some innovative, subtle designs that aren't like over the top, like super extreme.
I saw you built a 3-inch Quadmilla, right?
Yeah.
And those, I find that from I've seen others, like other 3 inches, and I find like they're very stealthy compared to like for an FPV drone, right? Like they're quiet in a sense.
They are quiet. I mean, they're quieter. I wouldn't say they're like super quiet, but I mean, I was flying it today and I was just like, man, this is fun because the O3 system brings a whole new dynamic to these little quads, right? Because before, the problem with micro quads or 3-inch quads was that you could never get like really good footage off of it, right? You would get like DVR footage or crappy recorded footage if you had an air unit in there, but it was never like really good enough to make any sort of content, or you really couldn't share it and be like, yeah, that was awesome. Now with the O3 air unit, you can put the O3 air unit in these very, very small drones, these little small quads, and you can get amazing stabilized footage, and it just looks awesome, and it's very shareable. And like this one I built was a 6S version. It flies for almost 5.5 minutes, and it just feels fantastic. Like, it flies really, really good. So I just posted up a new Instagram reel. If you want to see footage out of the Quadmilla Siren F3, go check out my Instagram. I just posted up a reel. It's up there, and you can sort of see that footage that it's producing. Like I said, super smooth, awesome build. I take no credit for figuring out these frames. Actually, Murder's FPV turned me on to Quadmilla, And ever since he did that, they've sort of just been like what I've been buying after that point. So
Now
awesome stuff.
The 3-inch, are you keeping it under 250 grams?
My takeoff weight on the 3-inch is 246 grams with the battery.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Like, so it's under 250 grams, super tiny. So, you know, obviously, and it rips, man. It gets the job done. I could probably get it lighter if I would have went with the 4S build. I probably could have made it lighter. Definitely could have gotten it a lot lighter.
Are you finding that these new quads that you're building, because you're not putting a GoPro on it and you're saving weight, are they more floaty? Like, do you have more flow, or do you feel the same?
I don't notice a difference, to be honest. Like, whether I have a GoPro, I feel like the GoPro gives you a little more sling. Like this weekend we were flying and I had the GoPro on and I felt like it was fine. It was, you know, a different power. You know what I mean? Like a 5-inch to a 3-inch, you're going to get different power. So I don't really notice a massive difference. I will tell you, when I set this quad up, the new one, the F3, I'm running KISS on it. So I'm running KISS. And I have the same PIDs and everything, and so I usually use that as a baseline. Well, that was a bad idea, because let me tell you, the first time I armed the quad, I sent it to the moon. The very first time I armed it, it just shot off into the moon, because I was using PIDs from the 5-inch, and they were just so, you know, dialed up. I mean, it was just like the slightest graze of the throttle. It was like, boop, to the moon. So I had to dial that back. But now that I've dialed it back and I've got it tuned to where it needs to be, it's flying really, really well. So that's always a good thing.
That's good. That's good.
So, but it's been a week of 250 gram drones. We did the review of the Iflight, the Iflight Defender 25. We got that one in, and that flies really good too for a 250 gram drone. Very small, compact. That flies, I would say it flies pretty damn good. You know, I'm going to keep flying it every week, you know, because I don't trust their electronics at all, like when it comes to the flight controller ESCs. But I will tell you that this one has been very, very stable so far. I haven't had any issues, no cutouts, no breakup. So maybe that could be in part to the fact that it's a 4S build, but I still don't like the fact that there's not enough of overhead on the ESC. It's only a 20 amp ESC, which if you have a really massive voltage spike, you're going to pop that ESC. So, and then you're going to be like having to solder and repair, and it's just, yeah, it's not a good thing.
And it was sort of fragile, right? Like when it fell from the tree, didn't the frame crack?
Yeah, so the frame cracked on the left-hand side. I mean, it's not a bad crack. It's flyable. It doesn't seem like it affects it, but the frame definitely cracked or it's not even the frame. It's the prop guard, right? The frame the actual physical frame is carbon fiber, but the prop guard actually cracked. And I don't know if it cracked when it hit the tree or if I could have cracked it flying, you know, because I've crashed it a few times now. So I don't know if it was that. So I can't really pinpoint that. But my guess is one of the crashes definitely cracked it. It's definitely, that plastic is not as resilient as the Avata's plastic. And a lot of people were making comparisons to this and the Avata, which I think they're really two separate things in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like when I saw your video review, I was thinking the same, you know, the Avata compared to the Defender.
Right.
But one thing I noticed is that FPV has come a long way, but so has the price points. Like, I can't believe the prices that these bind and flies are selling for. Like when I looked at the price for the Defender, like it's like about $570 once you add a receiver like Crossfire or something. So almost $600 just for a drone alone. And then you still have to account for, right, the extra batteries, goggles, radio if you don't have one. If this is your first time, you know, usually I would think that the people that are buying bind and flies are new pilots that don't want to build, right? So this might be your first quad, and it comes out. So when you come, what I'm trying to say is when you compare a package, like if you compare a Defender with goggles, extra batteries, and a remote, and then you compare that to the Avata, right? Which is the more simple approach to take? I think it's the Avata.
Yeah. Yeah, when you put it like that, I mean, I would take the Avata over this just because, like, they're, price wise, we're $575 for the Defender 25. It does not have GPS, so there's no return to home features. There's no position hold on the quad. So if you need like that, you have that oh my gosh moment, and you need to stop the quad, you either land it or it's gonna fall. So you lose that. There's no tilt control for the gimbal, which at first I didn't think that was a big deal, but I underestimate how often I actually adjust my tilt. Like if you want to go faster in the air, like you're all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I want to go a little slower. Let me slow it down so I could tilt the pitch. You actually underestimate how useful that is. The other thing is the Defender is slightly, in my opinion, slightly underpowered in comparison to the Avata. The Avata can hold a GoPro, and it is capable of flying for at least 5 to 6 minutes with the GoPro on there. If you tried to put a GoPro on the Defender, you're going to get like 2.5, maybe 3 minutes of flight, which, I mean, I'm being generous with that because I know it's not going to achieve that. So it just can't do that. Battery life with the Avata is definitely amazing. Now, the downside to the Avata is obviously it has geozones in certain areas, which is silly. And the fact that it weighs over 250 grams, I mean, may not be a big deal for people that are 107 because it doesn't matter whether it's over 250 grams or not. But those that, are really like honing in on that 250 gram thing, then the Defender is a good option. Or you may just say, hey, I really don't want to be locked into a proprietary system. I want some flexibility. Then at that point, the Defender is a good option, in my opinion, anyways.
Talk to me a little bit about the battery. They have a unique setup, right? So you have to put it on the plate. How does that work exactly? You have to put it on the plate, and then from the plate it goes to a balance lead, and
it's almost silly. It's almost silly. Like the battery to me almost doesn't make any sense at all. So the battery is not a smart battery, right? It's not a smart battery. It's just a normal LiPo battery in a fancy case. It's in a plastic case. Now, albeit this battery is super light. It's a 550 milliamp hour battery, and it is crazy light. Like you pick it up, you're like, holy crap, there's like it doesn't feel like anything. So there's just a XT30, like a proprietary down angle XT30 on the backside. There is no balance lead. The balance lead is actually in pin, like there's pins on the underside of the battery that are built into the battery. So then when you take the battery off of the Defender, you plug it into a tray, it clips into the balance lead. So now you can balance the cells, and then you plug the battery into the balance, the balance tray that they provide you, and that plugs into your charger. So you have a tray that it has to sit into. Now, the downside with that, in my opinion, is that you need to have multiple of those to be able to charge them. So I would have loved to see Iflight offer like a multi-charger, like a 3, like give us 3. And that way I can plug that directly into my charger, and I don't need a balance, what is it?
So you can only charge. So let's say even if you buy extra batteries, you buy 3, you can only still charge 1 at a time.
Right, unless you have multiple charging plates, because your charging plate has to be plugged into the balance board. So, But what I'm saying is if they would have made it to where the charging plate was also a balance board and it was capable of handling, let's say 3 or 4 batteries, I think that would have made sense. It's just a convenience thing. Like, and maybe they will offer that. I can't believe that they wouldn't not offer it. I believe that is something that they will offer eventually, but they may just not offer it right now. You know what? I don't even know what that balance thing actually even costs, to be completely honest with you. Let me go to their website and let's take a look, dude. I'm not even sure.
I can see them incorporating this into their other builds in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I can see them now. I don't know if they will or will not. You know what I mean? Because think about it. Would you buy this knowing that they would do this?
It's a good question.
See, I'm looking on their website, and the charging adapter is just a singular charging adapter, which sort of sucks. Now let's see what the charging adapter costs, though. So the charging adapter is $19.99. So it's $19.99 for the charging adapter. Their batteries are $16.99. So if you bought one charging adapter for every battery that you had, or if you bought 3, you're spending $60 on a charging adapter. And then $16.99 on batteries.
Or
I don't know.
Is frozen.
Yeah. What's that? What froze? What froze? Your camera froze? What?
Something happened.
Eddie's frozen. All right. I'll let Eddie try to figure.
Ken.
I'll let Eddie try to.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. We'll let him figure it out. So there he goes. He's coming back. Let's see if that fixes the issue. Let's see. Guest number 1 is Eddie. You back, dude?
Did I freeze?
You didn't freeze. I didn't see you frozen.
Oh, because I saw you frozen, and then Ecamm said, "Thanks for joining."
Oh, maybe it was an Ecamm issue then. Maybe their server got overloaded or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough.
Bobcopter says that he needs those things in his nostrils that will fix it.
Yeah, that was weird how it just sort of froze up like that. But I mean, these softwares, these streaming softwares are not perfect. They're gonna fail. I mean, eventually one day we're gonna get they're gonna perfect live streaming. I think we're another year away from having like perfected live stream software.
It has gotten better over time.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is still better than Wirecast.
Yeah.
This is still better. I have substantially less meltdowns live than Ken has. So that's my meltdowns. My meltdowns are all self-induced for entertainment purposes. I mean, that's one thing I can be thankful for. I'll drink to that. So, all right, let's talk about it. FPV list, or I should say drone wish list 2023. How do you follow up, Eddie, on the year of 2022? Let's recap here. 2022 was, I would say, a pretty damn amazing year when it comes to drones. We have the Mavic 3 Classic. We had two different Mini 3 drones. We had the Mini 3 Pro. We had the Mini 3. Autel, of course, put out a few drones here and there, sprinkled sporadically. But all in all, I mean, it was a pretty darn good year. What's your wish list for 2023? What do you want to see brought out?
So there's 2 drones I would like to see.
Okay.
One I wouldn't buy, one I would. The first is the Inspire 3. I would love to see just that machine and how it will work, and how you can combine that to what's that cinema camera that they released, the Ronin, right? The interchangeable features, probably. I'm guessing with the Ronin. I think the Ronin came out and it kind of died off. Yeah. That's one drone I would love to see. And then I would love to see a remake of the original FPV drone, the DJI, the racer drone. I would love to see them build something that's not hollow, something that's stronger, with OcuSync 3, an improved camera, perhaps an improved battery life. Those are my 2. Like I wouldn't really, me personally, I wouldn't care for an air drone, considering we have the Mini 3 Pro and the Mavic 3.
Well, let's think about this. Could the Mini 3 be better? We have a compact sensor still on there. It's not a 1-inch sensor. I think that an Air, a slightly larger but slightly smaller than a Mavic 3 still has a place. Hear me out. Hear me out. I think smaller, mechanical shutter, right? Adjustable aperture, 10-bit, give us that vertical video, the ability to go vertical with a 1-inch sensor. Give us like pro-like features like ProRes and things of that nature. And I'd be happy. And better batteries. Like, because let's be real, the Air 2, from the Air 2 to Air 2S, the batteries are just as bad as the Mavic 2 Pro when it comes to swelling.
Are you still saying 1-inch or micro four thirds?
No, I'm saying 1-inch. I'm being real. I'm being real because, like, let's be honest. Do you think you're gonna fit a micro 4/3 sensor in that size? I don't think it's gonna happen.
No.
And you can't and you cannot cannibalize. Before, when they first announced the Air 2S, I was sort of like, why? We have the Mavic 2 Pro. Why? This doesn't make sense. So now I think finally DJI is in a position that they can differentiate the different classes of the drone. You have the Mini 3 Pro that has an amazing compact sensor, but it's a compact sensor. It's not a 1-inch sensor. Then you would have the Air series that has a 1-inch sensor, a little bit better than the Mini 3 Pro, but not quite as good as the Mavic 3 or the Mavic Pros. And then you have that micro 4/3 sensor, which is obviously the king of all them. And then if you want to dip outside the prosumer area, you're entering into professional territory in the Inspire. So I think that's a good way that they can differentiate their markets for different pilots, different needs. If all the drones had the best of the best, like, that would be silly. Now you're cannibalizing yourself as far as features go, as far as cameras go on the drones. Does that make sense?
Hopefully,
Hopefully it makes sense.
It does, and you got a good point there. And I think that thinking about your points, they still have market share to capture,
Right?
Because you still have a lot of loyal Air 2S pilots out there,
Sure.
that have not switched over to the Mavic 3. I think one, because of price point, it is expensive, right? And you have to really commit to that drone. And two, they like the size factor and the form factor of that Air model airframe, but you don't really like the Mini because the Mini's, again, a very light, compact drone.
Right.
Gets tossed around in the wind at times, so I can see that.
Yeah, and when you compare the Mini 3 footage, like, the Mini 3 is good. Like, it's a good travel drone. Like, if this is all I can put in my bag, it's a great travel drone. But when you take that footage and you stack it up against the Mavic 3, there is a noticeable quality difference. And I mean, the least experienced, I would say, cinematographers or camera jocks, whatever, they would be able to easily pick up on that. Somebody who doesn't even really understand cameras could almost discern a difference in quality depending on the situation. I can definitely tell a difference between the two camera sensors. So I would just love to see them create something that was, like, just like that interim, like that middle of the road. And I think that's where the Air 3 would be absolutely, like, awesome. Like, Air 3 would be awesome. On the flip side of the coin, now we have Autel Robotics, right? So Autel Robotics is making, it almost seems like they're making a market shift a little bit, that they're leaning more into the industrial, the commercial realm, and they're not giving much credence to the consumer side, right? There's, like, not a lot of emphasis, and it doesn't seem like they really want to do much with the consumer side. Now, I could be wrong, but I am sort of just shocked at the fact that we didn't see an Evo 3, like an Evo 2 successor, and instead this year they decided that they were going to create an Evo 2 version 3, and unbeknownst to everybody else, it's almost a downgrade when you think about it, beyond the remote ID. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a unique situation that Autel is in. Like they really, I think 2023 they need to define themselves as a company, and if they're going to be tailoring
They
their,
need to make a decision.
yeah, if they're going to
Like,
be catering and offering products and solutions for the consumer world, then they need to come up with something more innovative. They can't recycle
well,
the same
the
things
problem
over and
is
over again.
they alienate their customer base, and I know there's a lot of like Alltel fans that think I just genuinely will take any opportunity to trash Alltel, but I want you to think about this from a consumer's perspective. That somebody who bought the Evo 1, and then all of a sudden now you put out the Evo V2 and you claim you made these improvements and blah blah blah. It's a new chipset and it's compliant. Okay, so somebody buys the Evo V2, and now all of a sudden, then you put out Evo V3, and it's got this brand new transmission system and blah, 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 blah. And then people buy the V3 based upon, because it has this new badge, it says V3, but it's slightly, it's a slight bit of a downgrade because, oh, did you not know that it cannot shoot 10-bit color? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it does not shoot 10-bit. Now, I don't know if they fixed that or not, but best of my knowledge, still on the firmware that I am on, it does not shoot 10-bit color.
Wow.
And somebody else had brought this up to me, and I was sort of like, yeah, well, I've known this. I've known this for a little bit. I just don't fly it often enough to really care that it doesn't. I mean, it takes amazing photos, but it doesn't shoot 10-bit. Makes no sense. And it's still the same design. You put out a new smart controller, which the smart controller's okay. It's good. It's comfortable. The screen is decent. I mean, it's a decent RC. It's nothing amazing or, crazy to write home about. But I just feel like they sort of put one foot in just a little bit, test the water, but they're not really ever fully committing to things. That's my that's my biggest problem with Alltel, is that they're just not really committing to one specific thing, right? They're just not.
Their lineup is just confusing overall. Even to your point, the RC, like,
yeah,
which drone is it compatible with? And if I have this drone, can this RC work? It's just difficult.
There's a lot of fragmentation there as well, and Max at one point promised that there would be backwards compatibility with that in the Evo Light series and the Nano, and I don't think they've seen that compatibility as of right now. I'm 90% sure they haven't seen that compatibility update. I would have heard something about it, and I haven't. And I think that's one of the more upsetting things about the Evo lineup, is that it just sort of falls flat, like in certain areas. But I mean, it's still a good drone. But again, you got to keep in mind, like, we're being nerdy about it. We're being super nerdy and being super technical at a super high level on these things. And we care about those things, where the average person that maybe does not want to buy DJI does not care whatsoever. So,
and also from another point, especially thinking about 2023, I think they've been very quiet with remote ID. Not really, right? Not really being transparent with their consumers. Like, will my drone be compatible this year?
Well,
right?
they've said that as of right now, the only ones that would be compatible are the Light series and the Light Nano and the V3. Version 2 and version 1 of the Evo 2 are not remote ID capable.
Which is interesting.
Best of my knowledge, it's not going to be capable. So
I heard today from a source that the Mavic Pro Platinum was vetted through.
I did see that, which is like, wow, that's pretty wild that a drone of that age is capable of doing that. I mean, that would give hope that if something that old was vetted, then the Mavic 2 Pro should certainly be vetted as well, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
I would imagine too. And and at the end of the day, like, a lot of the remote ID stuff, I feel like is just going to be like an informal formality. Does that, you know what I mean? Like, okay, it's remote ID. Yeah, we have the capability to track you, just like we can probably find your license plate on a freeway type of thing if we need to, but if we don't need it, we don't, it's there, but only if we need it, if there's a situation that arises. I feel like that's sort of remote ID, like how it feels. And I could be way off base on that, but that's just how it feels. Like it's an informal formality. Like people are making a bigger deal out of it than it actually really is. And maybe in a couple of years it will be a big deal, but I don't feel like as of right now it's not. It still doesn't feel like it's a reality, I guess. But maybe it could be eventually, but I don't think it's there just yet. All right, let's talk about Skydio. So here's a company that hasn't really given us anything new since 2019, right? Skydio S2, right? That's what they had launched, the Skydio 2. I'll never forget the morning I woke up. It was a Wednesday morning. I'm seeing the trailer release for the first time after seeing things leak for it. And I never forget, that was probably the fastest I've ever pre-ordered a drone before in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I ordered this thing and it arrives and I was just blown away with what this drone was capable of doing, as probably many people were. But as quick as I was blown away, that excitement also faded probably like 2-3 months into it, because the frustrations of piloting this drone started adding up. It didn't let you really fly it the way you want it to fly it. It didn't quite have the range that we were accustomed to from other manufacturers. And the quality of the camera was inconsistent at best, depending on the lighting situations, right? And then if you got too far into the golden hour, that sunset hour, you weren't able to fly it anymore because the sensors weren't detecting enough light to fly it. So here we are, 2023. We haven't yet seen anything new from the Skydio camp. They've released an amazing amount of firmware updates, which is fantastic. It's awesome to see them support a product for as long as they have. But they have to, I would think they would have to put something else out, right?
Yeah. To your point, it's been too long, right? It's the same product essentially. It's a stale drone. I always thought of the Skydio as like the GoPro equivalent of a drone. It's an action cam drone that's gonna, follow you when you're doing action based things like skiing, whatever it may be. I don't know if I can put it on a jet ski, but maybe jet ski, ATV, etc. But there's really not much more that you can do. I would love to see Skydio sort of create a hybrid drone where it has all those tracking, capabilities, but then you can also fly it with a remote. Like it can serve dual purposes, right? Maybe it's my Mini 3 hybrid, Skydio 2 type of deal, where I'm not restricted to the just only the sensors, and I can fly at night. I have a good camera. It doesn't have to be like an excellent camera, a good camera, and I have the penetration to like really fly it.
Yeah, I mean that was my biggest gripe with the Skydio. Is one, the janky pairing process between the remote. You got to like connect the remote to the drone. Why isn't none of this bound prior to me getting the drone? I want to take something out of the box and I want to be able to, charge it and fly it, right? I don't want to have to sit there and bind things, and there's too much dickery that had to occur with that drone. And then you had the beacon situation. And if God help you, if that beacon ever lost GPS, you want to talk about like living on a prayer. Like I start hearing Bon Jovi in my ear, because that drone became very, very like, I have a mind of its own type of thing. And I think that they were a little bit overzealous with the initial marketing, because they made it seem like it was this uncrashable piece of technology, which that does not exist. If it can fly, somebody will crash it. And I'll never forget, watching Kluge, of all people, fly it through the bridge in Cincinnati and seeing him crash it. And now the reason why they did not warranty his drone is because they said he was flying around wires, but that's not the reason why. The reason why they didn't want to do anything is because they said he was flying in an unsafe manner and they didn't want to support that. I think that was a scapegoat. I think they should have just warrantied it out. Maybe they did, and we'll never actually know what happened. But I mean, that was wild to see. I think that was the first crash that I witnessed with that drone. Was that one. And then the second crash was, you know, the cranberry bogs from Billy watching the damn thing just dive bomb out of the air into the water, just killing it itself.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty wild to see. But I mean, you know, these are growing pains, obviously, of a young company, and they've hopefully fixed those problems, but they have to put out some new hardware at some point. Mm-hmm. The Skydio X2 can't really even count for hardware because that thing, it seems like the vast majority of people in the industry that do have one or fly one either regret the purchase or are brutally honest and say it just is absolutely a piece of crap. So I don't know. You know, that's one of the things that you can think about with that. So Skydio needs to put something else out.
But then some may say that Skydio is more of an enterprise-driven organization now, right?
It is. And you're seeing that. You're seeing a lot of that. Like, we're seeing that with Autel. Now, DJI is motivated by consumer because, let's think about it. They've been blacklisted. You know, they're on the entity list. So they were sort of cut at the kneecaps, if you will, when it comes to the commercial side of life here in the United States. Internationally, they still have a lot of prowess, a lot of presence, but when it comes to the US, they were sort of handicapped when it comes to enterprise. Now, with that being said, I like what they're doing. They're doubling down on the consumer on all fronts. They said, all right, well, if we can't produce commercial, then we will produce consumer, and they've done an amazing job of doing that. We've gotten a tremendous amount of gimbals. We've got action cameras. We've got more gimbals now than we ever had before. They produced their very first camera in the Ronin 4D. And then, of course, we have the drones, which, like, it felt like last year it was like, and by the way, there's one more thing. And by the way, there's one more thing. It's like, it's pretty wild when you think about it. So at least somebody is thinking of the consumer. But the reality is they're the only one that can compete in the consumer realm. You know, they're the only one that's built an ecosystem that people can say, okay, this is easy enough to use. It's easy enough for me to figure it out. It's an attractive enough of a product for me to want to purchase that. Other manufacturers haven't quite done that. They haven't built an ecosystem like for a backbone. They haven't built that. And like you look at Autel, they don't have an ecosystem right now. If they did, it would lock people in to keep purchasing their product, which they didn't. And I think that's the problem. Lauren asks, is that a new printer behind you? Yep, that is one of two, actually. Yeah, there's actually two Bamboo P1Ps back there. And then we have a Bamboo X1 over here. So been running them through their paces this past week, trying to make sure everything is working as it should.
Those are sexy printers.
They are sexy printers, but you know what? They are also very, very frustrating. They're almost too smart for their own good. So right now the printer is on an idle, but before it was telling me I had to calibrate it. Something about the resonance in the printer, that it wanted me to clean the carbon rails and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, what? I shouldn't have to do any of those things. Like, why are you telling me this? So you have to calibrate it. But one cool thing is it has this app. It's hard to probably see, but it has an app, and it'll tell you the status of the prints, which I really dig this. I think that this is one of the coolest things that it has. So I can see all the statuses of the prints as they're going. And if something's happening where I need to stop it, I can just stop it remotely, which is fantastic.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So
that's really, really cool.
Yeah, so it's definitely pretty damn cool. Let me jump into the chat here and see what's going on. So we got Bob Casey, South Florida Drone Meetup, April 1st, Jensen Beach Causeway, FPV Day, Sunday. Be there. I will be there, actually. So cool. So I will be at the meetup. I don't know if I'll be there Sunday. I think we're heading further south. I think we're going to go to the Keys or something like that. but I will definitely be there on Saturday. But I can't speak for Sunday. I don't think I'll be there. Ken, do you still have those old printers that you're selling? Dude, those sold. I may have some more printers that I'm going to sell. I do have some artillery machines. I actually have one Ender 3 S1 Pro that I'm probably going to sell. Which the Ender 3 S1 Pro is a beast. It's definitely a unit. So I may sell that to probably get another Bamboo. So definitely so. Let's see. Yeah. Greg says, if purchasing a drone for government work, what would be the best one to purchase, mainly for construction progress reporting, 2D mapping? It's a tough one right now because a lot of them, like I said, like Skydio does some good things, but like they're still very limited. I would say keep your eye on FLIR Teledyne. I think the FLIR drone right now is probably going to be one of the best options. It seems to be one of the more complete drones that are going to be available for government work. So I can't speak to the payloads that they're going to offer with it, but I would say keep an eye out on that FLIR drone. It's looking like it's going to be very, very promising. Would I still recommend the artillery Sidewinder for 2023? Yeah, absolutely. I think the artillery Sidewinder is a fantastic printer. It's got a large build volume. It can print really tall things. I mean, the prints come out. Trying to think. The prints come out. I was trying to look for one of the prints I printed with it recently, but the prints come out amazing. And price wise, you can get them for like $329, which I think is a steal. And it's really easy to assemble. That's most importantly. You're up printing in less than a few minutes. Let's see. Do you have a motion wanker I can buy off you? My family is miserable on the weekends when we go out to FPV. I may have a motion wanker lying around. I literally do not use the motion controller at all. So if I could sell a motion controller, I would absolutely do it because I can't stand that piece of tech. So yeah, I would say shoot me an email if you're interested in a motion wanker. Just put in the email title wank. So I know what it is. Let's see. What else do we got here? A lot of South Florida drone meetup stuff. That's happening in April. Eddie, you'll be in the Dominican Republic, I assume, right?
I will.
Yeah.
It's my time to be down there.
I wasn't going to go. I wasn't going to go to the South Florida drone meetup, but there I am. I'm going.
Should be a cool event. I hear there's a lot of people attending too.
Yeah, I don't like going to meetups to fly though. Like I don't like I like small events to fly. I probably won't even fly at the South Florida drone meetup там it's just a clusterfuck and bad things happen when you fly with that many people. I've seen it time after time. This past weekend, I went and flew with some friends, and it was just 4 of us, and it was like the perfect amount of people to where one person would go up and fly, and then the other guys would just watch, you know, and then that person would come down, and then you would have time in between the other people flying and you charging batteries. So it was just perfect. Anything more than 4 or 5 people, I don't fly. I won't fly. I'm not gonna destroy a bunch of equipment.
Yeah. Same here for me personally. Like lately, when I go fly with guys, it's usually just like 3, 4 the max. Because it gets a little sketchy when you have that many pilots up.
Danish says, very likely a Rumble in the Jungle Q1. Yeah, I mean, the one good thing about the Rumble events or even the TDA drone events is that we run a flight line, right? So anytime we have a flight line, there's only like 4 or 5 pilots flying at a time. It's very well organized. And usually like Jeff Hardy does an amazing job of keeping things organized like for these events. So we don't have a catastrophe. But anytime I've been to, you know, other open meetups, it's like a freaking free for all, and it sucks. Like who's plugging in, knocking you out of the air? It sucks. So I don't like that crap. M Drone says, I don't usually fly. No, usually you're just swimming for drones, Mark. Yeah, usually you're just recovering, search and rescue for the drones. Maddie says Lon is very persuasive. Well, there's that. But the meetup is just one portion. Like, I'm more interested in going, like, I want to go to Miami. I want to go to the Keys. I haven't been to the Keys, and I haven't been to the Florida Keys since, man, when I was in 7th grade. Like, that's a long, long time. So I definitely want to get down there and, like, at least fly the first couple of keys. Because I know, like, Key West, you can't fly. It's like all airport. But there's other keys and other areas where you can fly that would be awesome and just great content. So definitely want to do that. What's my email? It is actually in the description. It's info@originaldobo.com. So very simple. info@originaldobo.com. Dobo, realistically, who do you think would even benefit from the Inspire 3 considering the Mavic 3 series? A lot of people. Cinematographers, professional pilots, commercial guys. Yeah, I mean, anybody who's currently still using Inspire 2, like, I still have friends, they film a lot of work professionally, car commercials, you name it. They're chomping at the bit to have an Inspire 3 with OcuSync 3 and just better redundancy. The biggest problem with the Inspire is it lacks redundancy to protect yourself should something happen. I've seen a lot of Inspires crash out of the air, and I just feel like they don't have enough of redundancy for today's times. So if we have an Inspire 3 and it has much better redundancy, I think that would be awesome. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm flying on Friday morning and back to Canada on Monday. Wow, it's a long trip.
That's tight.
Do you think that the Air 3 comes out with 04 transmission? I don't think we're going to see 04. I don't think there's anything. I don't think they would put OcuSync 4 transmission in a non-flagship drone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the Mavic 3 is a flagship drone, and I think OcuSync 2 was in many, many drones. OcuSync 3 is relatively new. They may have different iterations of OcuSync 3, but I don't think we'll see an 04 transmission for a little while. They got to hold something. They got to hold something back. I think they'll wait for, like, beyond visual line of sight flights or something like that. Who knows? By that point, maybe we're seeing, like, 5G chips available. Who knows? It's really tough to say. Yes, we are heading to the Keys. That's the game plan anyways. Whether that works out or not, we won't know. I haven't even prepared that far ahead. I haven't even looked that far ahead. The landscape that far ahead, like 60 days ahead, is ever changing. The landscape. Like, while I commit to things like, 2 months, 3 months in advance, you just never know what's going to change. Commitments change. You just get hit with all sorts of contracts of things, and who knows? You may see people joining teams and all sorts of weirdness. We'll see. There are things in motion. We'll leave it to that. Flyfin Media says M Drone was one of the reasons why I signed up to come. There is 100. I did a poll, Eddie, and I asked Inspire 3, Air 3, Evo 3, FPV drone. So no surprise, Air 3 is what most want to see at 44%. New FPV drone comes in at 29% at number 2. Coming in at number 3, the most expensive, the Inspire 3. Coming in at number 4 with 9% of the votes, Evo 3. Nobody gives a crap about Autel at all. Poor Autel. They're just left in the dark. Nobody cares about Autel. Nobody gives a crap about Autel.
New FPV drone will be definitely something.
An FPV drone would be cool. It'd be cool. Yeah. It would be cool. If they made it stronger, much more durable, I am like all about that, man. I am all about that, man. Like, give me a stronger FPV drone, something that could be a little bit of take a little bit of a hit and I'm golden, or at least make it to where it flies well, or I don't know. I would even actually be happy if DJI just put out some flight controllers and ESC combos, right?
That would be cool.
Like, give us something like an alternative to Betaflight or something that, you know, we have a tune-in utility where we can tweak things, but the hardware is truly top notch. I mean, that would be awesome. But again, it's a very niche market. Like, you even see the problem, like with the O3 Air units, FPV is very, very niche. So because it's so niche, there may not be enough interest in somebody wanting to purchase that. I've said that a few times now.
I've been holding out on buying the new goggles because just waiting to see what happens in the first quarter.
Yeah.
If they release, you know, a new FPV drone, obviously they'll probably sell it as a bundle.
Yeah.
With the new goggles, and maybe that's where we'll see those goggles
now.
SDs.
The new goggles now with the new foam that I put on it, that foam I got from China, where it fixed the light leaks. They're a lot more comfortable. I would say it's definitely a lot more comfortable to fly. It feels better. I like the goggles too. I really like the goggles too because they're so compact and I can fit a lot more in my bag, which was really like all I was interested in when it came down to things. I was just like, I just really want to be able to travel as light as I possibly can. And I think the new goggles too let me travel as light as I possibly can do. So very, very happy with them. I really don't have any complaints off them, to be honest with you. I mean, I could complain about something. I could get nitpicky, but I don't think it's worth getting crazy about. A drone that could orbit around a single point POI natively would be great. Him and his fucking cell phone towers. I know that's what he's talking about. That's it. Like, he just wants a drone that he can launch and scan a cell tower. That's it.
Yeah.
He would love that. He needs to change that avatar to a cell tower.
Do you think so? 107 Drones ask a good question because we've seen a lot of rumors. Do you think Goggles 2 will work on anything other than the Avata?
Well, the Goggles 2 do work on other things. They work on the Air unit, the O3 Air unit.
But I think he's coming from the perspective of,
right. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work on a Mavic. I don't know if it's going to work on the Mavic 3 Pro. I don't know if it will. I think a lot of decisioning factors go into whether or not they do that and like what blowback they would possibly get for, you know, flying with goggles like that. Like,
that's true.
I mean, because technically, let's be honest. If you put goggles on and you are flying, you need to have a visual observer, at least right now. Like, you can't fly FPV technically, and I'm using air quotes, technically, without a visual observer. So that means that every time you would strap those goggles to fly your Mavic, you would need to have a visual observer. So I don't know. I mean, there's things like that, and I'm sure like DJI is not stupid. They know the rules. They probably know like the FAA regulations better than most 107 pilots think they do. So, you know, there's some things, but I don't know. True. I don't know if they will. I feel like they have the capability to do it, but it's just a matter of, okay, how and when. Like, how and when. And do you still got to connect? Do you got to connect your phone? Okay, and if I connect my phone, what's the latency from the drone to the goggles? Like, that's the other thing, is there could be latency concerns.
I can see them being cautious from a risk perspective and like overall reputational risk to the company. So like you mentioned, you know, what's the blowback? Yeah. If, you know, would I put my customers at harm pretty much? Right. Which will deter them from buying my products.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, you know, anytime they put out a new product, they sort of have to make these products, and don't take any offense to this, but they have to make their products idiot proof. Mm-hmm. They have to make them idiot proof. You have to assume that your customer is an idiot and that anything that could go wrong will go wrong. And as long as you assume that and you plan for those problems to arise, you're going to put yourself in a position to succeed. That's honestly best course of action. And that's a philosophy that I have kept in the forefront of my mind from when I was a mechanic to now, that I always thought silently in my mind that my customer was an idiot, and that if they could break it, they would find a way to break it. And that's the same way as like when DJI puts out these updates or does things, they're thinking to themselves, all right, how are they going to break this? Or how would somebody screw this up? So I think I think they will, but I think they'll wait. Maybe we'd see a new goggle, that what works, like a slim down, dumbed down version of a goggle that just works with the phone. I don't know the allure of flying with the goggles. Like it's helpful, but it's not helpful in the same token. I don't feel like you have the same confidence flying a Mavic in goggles as you do an FPV drone, because the FPV drone, where that crosshatch is exactly where that drone is going to go through, and that you're going to make it through there safely. But with the Mavic, that crosshatch not only is off sometimes, it's not accurate. Like, that center point is not always accurate. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just my thought. I mean, but hey, let people fly it however they want.
Flying with goggles gives me anxiety. I don't fly alone. Like I just can't. Like I can't.
Yeah. Chris Richardson says, maybe I'm too new to be bothered by it, but I don't see the problem people claim flying at 30 frames per second with the Avata. What? I can tell you that there's definitely a problem flying 30 frames per second. You're not flying fast enough to have an issue. Mm-hmm. When you fly at 100 frames per second, or you even fly, at 60 frames or whatever it is, anything higher, the clarity of the items that you are passing by, like, for instance, trees, branches, whatever, the ground is a lot more readable and visible, and you have a different sense of confidence. When you're flying at 30 frames per second, everything is a blur. It's very mushy. Yes. It's blurry. It blends. You do not have the same confidence that you have when you are flying at 100 frames per second, or you're flying at even 60 frames. You can see much more to avoid. So if you're trying to avoid things, prime example, you're flying through trees. You're trying to fly it through trees. If you're flying at 30 frames per second and you're moving any amount of fastness, everything is a blur, and it becomes undiscernible to the human eye as to what you're actually passing, especially around this time of year when a lot of leaves are not on the trees. So you have these ghost branches that will just smack you out of the drone. Now, it's not a huge deal for the Avata because it has prop guards, but for open prop drones like, my FPV quads or anything like that, it's a huge problem. I would not fly at 30 frames per second. But again, this is one of the improvements I would love to see. If they create a second generation FPV drone, please, for the love of God, give us 2 cameras, 1 flight camera and 1 camera to record, so we don't have to mount additional hardware to our quads. Like, we don't want to do that.
It would be cool if they can figure out a way to do it like a Mavic 3 style, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like 1 housing, but you have 2 cameras.
They can do it. I'm sure they've tested it. I'm sure they've thought about it. Why is this like this? What the freak is this? What is this, Eddie?
I don't know what you're saying.
Why am I dual screened here? God damn it. I got to stop clipping. I got to stop clicking buttons. What happened there? What happened?
I don't know.
I don't know. It just almost went off the rails there. Jesus, Mariah. Shit in 6 is 4. Good Lord. That almost went off the rails there because I was like looking at the screen. We were there, but then there was 2 of me. It was like a mirror effect. Mercy. That was trippy, dude. Too much for too soon. All right, we're at 10:05. We've been now streaming for 1 hour and 5 minutes. We will do this. We will call it a night. We will be back again possibly next week, maybe the week after, but probably next week. DJI Air 3S. Julien?
We need a 3 first.
Julien, we need a 3 first, bro. We need a 3 first. Cannot go to S until you... This is what I'm talking about. How the fuck are you going to go from a 3 to an S when we haven't even gotten a 3? Julien! This is why we can't have nice things.
Julien just pops in very discreetly.
Just pops
first
in
comment,
here.
right?
Just pops in here. First time. How?
Yeah, 3S.
That's like the chicken before the egg. Julian, raising my blood pressure. Raising my blood pressure.
Maybe he meant to say Mavic 3S.
Maybe Mavic Air 3s.
3S, just Mavic 3S.
3s. I don't know. I feel like he means Air 3. I feel like he means what he thinks we think he means.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just I feel now I hear like King Julian from Madagascar in my head. You can't tell. I don't know. Eddie, I don't know. I'm out. I gotta go. I can't deal with this shit tonight. All right. I'm gonna breathe.
All right, bro.
I'm gonna breathe. We almost made it through a whole show without screwing it up, Eddie. Son of a bitch.
But it's always the ending. It's always the ending.
It's always Julian, dude. It's always a Julian. God damn it, Julian.
Maybe I'll just get out my head and focus on what I know's coming. Yeah. Cause I can't fall asleep at night without seeing my dreams. Delusion and reality, I'm somewhere in between. These voices in my head get loud and they keep telling me that I'm a fool for trusting in these wings. But maybe, baby, this what flying feels like. Maybe, baby, this what flying feels like.
All right. We are out. We're out. Good show.
we out?
We are out. Yeah, it's off.
You sure? Are you not doing that funny stuff you always do?
No, dude. No.
Oh. You
I
told
got
me you
too
was
much-
gonna
I got
switch
too
from
much shit to do.
Ecamm to what's the other thing? with
Restream.
DR?
Restream.
Restream.
Yeah, you
So
know.
that I can see what's going on, because I don't know if you're really goofing
I
off.
love Ecamm, dude. I love Ecamm. Ecamm's just, it works good. It just gets the job done. The stream looks beautiful. Got the animations. It just works good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll trust you and believe you that we're off. But yeah, good stream.
We
I think
did
it felt-
it, dude. We did it.
Yeah, it felt like the first stream of
Nobody's gonna
2023
make
for
it to
some
the
reason,
end.
but
Nobody's gonna know that we fucked up. Because what
That's-
is that? No, nobody's gonna know because they're not gonna watch it this long. They're gonna drop off. They're not gonna do it.
only that guy. What's his name again? Julian? Was it Julian? Julian will watch to the end.
Julian will watch to the end.
Yeah.
It's French. I keep getting in fights with French people. I don't know why. I did screw up recently though.
Oh.
So I have insomnia, right? Like I don't sleep. So when I was in Vegas, I bought sleep aid. Right?
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure it wasn't sleep aid. I think it was Viagra.
Viagra.
I'm 90% sure. 90% sure. Today I was walking around Publix like fucking Woody the Woodpecker. It was ridiculous. It's quite egregious. Oh, and I'm also, I meant to tell you, I am a real drone reviewer now. You want to know why?
What is that?
I'm getting a fucking electric bike. I've got an electric bike.
Wow.
This
So you
company is sending
graduated.
me an electric
Oh,
fucking bike. They sent me. I have FedEx tracking. I have FedEx tracking information on a fucking electric bike, Eddie. I'm going to review an electric bike.
So you made it. There's an evolution.
I have made it. That
drone
is like,
reviewers, battery bank reviewers, electric bike reviewers.
Thank you so much.
Which bike can you mention, or you can't mention yet?
It's some company called K30.
Sounds like a drug.
KB. Anyways, it's a bike and it's an electric and it's gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna make the best fucking review video. I can't wait to review it, dude. I've never been so excited or excited. Fuck, I can't even speak.
E-bikes are pretty cool.
No, I think it's an up and coming thing, dude. E-bikes are just like, it's bitching, dude. I'm gonna ride that bike and I'm gonna have a smile on my face. Like I'm gonna be like going through the neighborhoods, like the yuppie neighborhoods.
Yeah.
My front lawn smells like shit right now because the septic's fucked up.
Oh my god.
Good morning, my neighbors. Yeah, it's a mess. But no, I'm getting an e-bike, dude, and that means I don't have to drive the Jeep as frequently. So this is going to be a legit situation. I mean, this could be the start of a beautiful relationship with me and this company. Yeah, maybe I'm just now become a e-bike entrepreneur, and I just review all the e-bikes and I just ride. I'm going to ride or die. Yeah.
You know what would be cool? Imagine you guys go from drone reviewers to battery bank reviewers to e-bike reviewers to electric vehicle reviewers.
Oh man, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that now. No, I draw the line at e-bike. I did. It's so funny. I meant to tell you this. I was going to call you the other day. You know how, what is that company? What is the battery bank? EcoFlow. Fuck, EcoFlow. So they're bitching about not having the product in a video. And I said, I really don't like reviewing battery. I said, nobody cares. Battery banks are like the equivalent of toilet paper. You have to use it because you got to take a shit or something, or maybe you got to wipe your pee-pee. But you use it. It's a utility. You use it. You don't talk about it. You just use it. Nobody cares about your battery bank. So this past weekend, I actually put it in the video. I didn't put a link for it, which I screwed that up because they're like, then they emailed me and it was something in Mandarin. They were like, your review our video, you didn't put the affiliate link. And I said, I'm not signing up for another. I don't want any more affiliate accounts. I don't want any affiliate accounts for, if I'm not actually physically going to buy it myself, I don't want an affiliate account. That's my policy. If I won't spend the money myself, I don't want an affiliate account. I said it made an appearance. That should be good enough, right? And so I go online, I look, I was like, how much does this thing cost? I'm going to send this lady a money order so she can shut the fuck up. And it's like $140. It's $140. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
You just had it in the video. It's $140. It worked. I said nice things. I said, it charged 8 batteries. Thank you so much. But I'm not going to go out of my way. I'm not going to suck the dick of a battery brand. I'm not going to suck a battery brand's like I'm telling you, like the next time I go to CES and EcoFlow's there and we're playing that Dodge game and she's coming at me, I'm just going to be like, I'm going to come up on all 4 wheels and just be like, ah! Like the Matrix style, dude.
It's crazy. They are pretty aggressive though.
Yeah, they are. They're aggressive as fuck, dude. They just email after email. Finally, I think she got the hint, dude. I became very explosive. Like, I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of decisions I've made recently that I had to sit down and say, okay, that was not professional. I wish I could walk that back, but we said it. We did it. I'm just learning that you cannot regret the things that you do that you shouldn't have done. Does that make sense, Eddie?
It does. It does.
That makes sense. So, all right. Well, I got to go.
I recently made a purchase. The goggles too, I think they're a bad idea. And I think I can solve it with another item.
What did you do? What item?
I bought something better than the goggles too.
No, dude. No, dude. No. I told you that. No. That is shit, dude. That is shit. That drone mask is shit, dude. That is garbage. You know what that's the equivalent to?
What?
Shit. It's shit. That is garbage. Drone mask. They hit me up. They wanted me to do this whole thing and blah, 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 blah. I'll give you the drone mask. I said, I don't want the drone mask. They hit me up again. I said, no, I don't want to partake. Then they offered me, it was like $50. You get to keep it. And there's an affiliate link. I said, fuck you, $50. I'm not reviewing it. I'm not looking at it. I'm not producing a video. Fuck off. Fuck off. Like literally that was my response to the drone mask. And it was like whoever the creator of drone mask. Like here's the reality. He went on Alibaba. He looked for something that could hold a phone, right? That's what he did. He bought a shit ton of these things off of Alibaba. He branded as drone mask and that's it. Call it a day. And then peddle it out to a bunch of influencers. And see, he's smart because what he does is he doesn't target large channels. He tries to target large channels, but when that doesn't work because they're hip to his bullshit, he'll target the middle channels because these are the people that are like, oh, somebody saw me. They want me to review something. I'm going to review it. And they don't realize they're getting played. They're getting played. They're sucked into the system. And now the system is just ass fucking everybody. That's right. I said that. And just getting ass fucked because they want you to review the drone mask. And I'm not about to get ass fucked by any company that wants me to put a mask on my face. Fuck them. Drone mask. I don't know, dude. It's just these companies, dude, just tweak me out, man. I can't deal with it.
There's some aggressive companies out there though that just are relentless. They just want to get their stuff.
They just want their stuff out there, but they don't care. They don't care about nobody. They don't care about nobody. They'll fuck you tomorrow. They don't care. Be careful with that one. Did they send that to you?
Yeah, they did.
They did. What they want you to give them? What'd you have to do? Give them a testicle? Did they want a ball imprint? What do they want? They want a little mushroom
nipple.
stamp?
My left nipple.
Don't give them nothing, Eddie. Don't give them nothing.
They want my lips. They want my lips.
Don't give them nothing.
They want my lips with their drone mask on.
No, don't give them nothing. Don't let them have nothing. Nothing. That's a company that needs to fade. They need to fade.
I haven't even opened it though, and it's been.
Let me see the box. Show me the box.
Look.
This looks so bad. Tremendous. What is that on the side? What? So how does it work? Is there anything actually turns on? Is it
no.
or is it no? There's no electronics in there. It's literally a mask. Is that
you
it?
Just put your phone. Yep. You just put your phone. You put your phone in. It's 5 steps. Connect your drone controller to your smartphone. They included the cable.
Okay.
Launch the usual app for your drone.
Okay.
Insert the smartphone into the drone mask too. Zip it shut and adjust the head strap and focal length.
Oh.
Wear the mask and enjoy the experience.
That sounds stupid.
And I think this retails for like $100 and something too.
Yeah, and they probably paid like $30 for that.
Oh.
That's $30. Where's that made? Where is that? Designed in Norway. Bullshit. Yeah. I call bullshit. Alibaba all the way. Bullshit.
It's an immersive high definition drone goggle.
You know what I would use? Let me tell you what I would buy that for. You know what I would do? I would partner with my other sponsor, Eddie. I would partner with my other sponsor, my other channel sponsor, Pornhub, right? And I would view some virtual reality porn in my drone mask. That's what I would do. That's who they should sell that to. Not drone pilots. Don't sell it to drone pilots. I want like 360 degrees in my face. Motorboat.
You can do that.
Oh yeah, I know. I got a Quest VR. Shh, don't tell my wife.
Oh, look at that.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I was playing poker the other night. I was at a table and like I'm looking at people. They're looking at me, and I'm like looking at them. I'm looking at my cards. I'm playing game, talking to people. I'm like, this is the future. This is the future.
Yeah, drone the mask. Metaverse.
Yeah, fuck drone mask, dude.
Whereas supported, 100% is supported.
Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done with it, dude. I'm so done with it, dude. So done with it. 2023. God bless it anyways. All right, Eddie, I got to go home, dude. I got to go.
All right, bro.
All right, homie. Well, we had a good show tonight. I think it finished off well, and there was no casualties, and we didn't curse live. So that's the biggest thing. We said nothing inappropriate the entire stream, which means we keep YouTube happy. We keep the audience happy. We're one step closer to becoming child friendly. Sort of, or family friendly. We'll start with family as first because like Uncle Bob, Uncle Ted, and Aunt Sally and great Aunt Tilda, like they're gonna be like, oh, he didn't say any profanity this day. I'm like, oh, thank you, Aunt Tilly. You old fucking hag. So we're good. We're brand appropriate in the right ways, and that's all that matters, Eddie. God bless it, anyways.
Yes.
Yes.